Hi guys, my name is Brendan O'Neill and I'm a developer here of the AthenaCX platform. So right now I'm going to take you through a real life example of us creating a study which has 2 weekly surveys which is going to be distributed to students within the university in their first few weeks on campus. So first off, we've got 2 different surveys within our one study. So we're going to create the 2 different surveys just to have them within the project. We're going to have the belongingness index and the self-confidence index in this case. And these are both going to be sent out to students on a weekly basis to see how they're getting on campus. So now that we've created the 2 surveys, we're then going to click into one and we're going to start to set the structure of the questions. As you can see, we've selected which type of question we want for the first one. We've filled in the question and now we're going to fill in the answers. For this case, it's going to be strongly agree, neutral, disagree, and strongly disagree. So it's a Likert scale. The rest of our questions within this survey are of the same structure. They're Likert scales with the same answers. So instead of creating entirely new questions, we're just going to use the copy button in the top toolbar and we're going to copy one question for each that is within the survey. After we've copied out each question, we're then just going to simply edit over the question title and we're going to have it so it's going to reflect the actual questions which we want. So right now I'm just going to skip to the end so you can see us just filling out this survey. After we've completed doing the structure for this survey, we're going to go up to the bar in the top right corner, and from there we're going to see a list of all of the surveys which we have within our study. And now we're going to go to self-confidence index. So now we're going to do the same thing for the self-confidence index and we're going to fill in the question structure in the exact same way. This also has a Likert scale with the same options. So we'll fill in our question, we'll fill in our answers in the Likert scale, and then we'll just copy a question for each of the question within the survey, and then we'll edit the question. As you can see, that top toolbar on the right, there is also a branch. That branch is what we would use if we want to put in some conditional logic. In this survey we don't have any conditional logic, but if we did want to use stuff like skip logic, that's where we'd set those configurations. So now I'm going to skip to the end just so you can see me put in the last question, and now that's the 2 survey base is done. So now we have to move on to the actual settings. As I said at the start, we want this to be a weekly survey. So what we do is we go in, we set the start date of the survey, the end date, the day start and the end day, which means students will not receive notifications before the day start and they will not receive them after the day end. We'll then set our time gap to 10,080. That's because at the moment it's only done in minutes. We are making this more universal for days and weeks. So after that it's set to 1080. That means there's 10,080 minutes in a week. So that means this survey is going to be sent out to participants every single week, every 7 days for the specified duration of the study. So here we're just going to fill in the rest for both surveys. They're going to be identical in this case. So we'll fill this out. And then we're going to move on to the participants. So now we can fill out all the participant IDs which we want, and we can then use an Excel spreadsheet to cross-reference, or we can have people enroll and put in a password in order to access it. Then we're going to come and do our consent, where we just have a HTML box where we can make the consent look any way we'd like. After we do the consent, we're going to look at the overview. We're going to be able to see all the questions in all of our surveys. We're going to be able to look at the study as a whole before we confirm and we click the publish study. Now we've been successful. After that, we're able to come and we can see this is going to be the student using the mobile app as they were able to access the self-confidence index, and then they answered the questions, it moves on to the end, and now they've responded within the AthenaCX app to the study which we created on the AthenaCX Design Studio. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned if you want to see more videos, and we'll talk you through how to use other things within the survey, such as Fitbit integrations, conditional logic as I mentioned earlier, episodic triggering, where we can answer where we can wake up different studies based on answers within the questions, and many, many more. We've got lots of things to show you guys, so stay tuned.